Welcome back to another episode of Time Out with the Sports Doctor podcast, where life, sports, and medicine intersects. We are glad that you are part of this growing community where we strive to help you strengthen your mindset, help you grow your assets, and help you achieve whatever level of success that you want for your life. Go to our website at Dr.Derrick, thesportsdoctor.com, where you can find all the latest content, and you can also follow us on our social media channels. Now, let's get into this episode. So welcome to another episode of Time Out with the Sports Doctor podcast. And as you can see, we got a little different setting today. That's another episode when I'll really walk you through where I am and what's going on in this location. But as for today, we're going to talk about entrepreneurship and being a physician, as well as Bravenly Global. I'm going to share with you some clips from the event that I was able to host in my house last week when I had some of the top salespeople and executives from Bravenly Global at my home hosting a Sip and Sample event. So first, let's just kind of start off with how I got here. So if you've been following the content, you know over the last year, I mentioned this company, but how did I get to the point as a physician, being a brand ambassador, being someone who's affiliated with these companies? I think it all goes back to truly starting this podcast. So I remember when I was starting the podcast, doing the training, the first course I took was how to launch your podcast. So that was good for that phase because I had no clue about podcasting. It was something that I had in my heart to do, but no training, right? Because in medical school, that's the last thing we're worried about. So after that, I had the podcast going for about 9 months. I took another course, how to get paid with podcasting. And I really didn't like the title because I was never in it for the money, all right? But how to get paid with podcasting. So when you think about that, I think about money, sponsorships. What I didn't know is that there would be multiple avenues that I would be sought after because I have a podcast, being a physician, being a surgeon, and doing the things that I do. Just to be frank, many people in my career don't care about doing other things outside of medicine, especially with podcasting, entrepreneurship. You know, people talk about real estate, but many times it's from a passive role. But I would say this all kind of switched for me in 2020. And that's when I launched the podcast, or that's when I started training for the podcast. And then I finally launched on Father's Day of 2021. So as you know, we're quickly approaching that 5th anniversary. But I think that was a game changer for me. And then really now I understand what getting paid with podcasting is, because it's not about money. It's about relationships. It's about opportunities. It's about ability to be partners and collaborate with companies and CEOs. As you can see, I'm affiliated with Pattern Insurance, helping to spread the word about disability insurance. And then Bravenly Global is just another company that I've had an opportunity to partner with. So one of my main roles with Bravenly is as an educator. Being a physician in this space, health and wellness, I feel that it's really important for me to use my medical background to help understand the products, to help promote wellness and health, because many times what we're treating in medicine is pathology. So most people that come to my office don't come to me to sit down and have a consultation about health and wellness. They sit down with an injury, with an ailment, and they want a quick fix. If you've fallen and you broke a bone, you need it fixed. If you are playing sports and you injure your knee, tear a ligament, you need it fixed. But the conversations around maintaining your normal health, I feel is something that we're lacking. So for me, this is an area that I really had to lean into myself, because from a formal education standpoint, I still didn't really understand a lot about supplements. I really did not understand, from a nutrition standpoint, we kind of rushed through. Nutrition is a very small segment. There's a whole nother realm of medicine, even though we're orthopedics, even though we're dealing with bones, joints, and the bodily function. Mentioning health and wellness is not a very wide topic. So health and wellness, I will say there has been a shift in orthopedics. So the last 2 years, I went to a major conference That was sponsored by a corporation. And what did I see? Health and wellness table. I saw the same company at our American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons meeting. So this is the first time I'd say in my career that I've really seen a lot of health and wellness products being spoken about in the orthopedic realm. As well as I did a course lecture from the main academy meeting where they were talking about health, wellness, how we need to do a better job of fueling our patients' bodies, especially around surgery, when they're dealing with the stress of surgery and having to recover, making sure that they have the proper protein, the proper carbohydrates, the things that we need when we're going through these traumatic or stressful events in life, but also are we fueling our body properly? And so we get back to diet, right? Diet, exercise, water, the basic tenements. However, when we go through these stressful times in life or the lifestyles that we lead, many times when we're not able to be at home and cook a meal, we're grabbing food on the go, we're eating a lot of fast food, there are things that we need to supplement because we cannot eat enough to get all the things that we need in our diet. So that's kind of my why. Also from an entrepreneurial standpoint, being able to have another opportunity, multiple streams of income, because yes, as a physician, I have a good income. However, that income is not always guaranteed, and that income requires me to always be present, to be able to see patients, to be able to do surgeries. However, things like Bravenly, things like real estate, things like investments allow me to have other streams of income, so I'm not just dependent on being an orthopedic surgeon. So I want to share with you, number one, Bravenly Global, one of the fastest growing health and wellness companies in the world, privately owned, debt-free, and then the owners and the founders of the company, as well as some of the leaders, as well as one of the main takeaways is that the founders, faith-based company, debt-free company, which allows them to be able to move and grow and experiment. So now this company is international, just about to launch, and now another main phase of the company now ready to go international. So I feel like it's a great opportunity. I personally have been using the products now for over a year. My family used the products. So I can speak to the products as well, because that's the first thing. I was not going to just push things that I have not tried. So I personally taken them, I feel that they're safe. I feel that they're effective. And that's why I will put my name on something as a physician, because I'm very, very hesitant to be affiliated with anything. If you notice, the people on my company typically are other physicians. The people in this community that I'll speak on are usually other physicians or physician-owned companies or companies that I work with these people closely. It's just not people that are offering money, because that's never what this podcast was about. So yes, thank you for continuing to follow along. I'm going to share with you some of the clips, some of the main takeaways, things that touch me. Kelly Mooney is a family nurse practitioner. Lauren Whiteside, who is also a pediatric physical therapy assistant, myself, and then Adrian Watley, who is the number one salesperson in the company, in the whole company. So anytime I'm able to be around someone who has reached the top of their game, I'm always trying to pick up the small nuggets, the mindset. What are the systems that they have in place to be successful? So if you're not interested in wellness, but if you're interested in being at the top of your game, you will still get something from hearing these conversations. But if you are interested in hearing more, reach out to me. I'll have my information here in the show notes about where you can learn more about health and wellness, Bravenly Global. If this is an opportunity that fits you, then we'll be happy to grow with you. I grew up in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, and then I moved to Laurel, Mississippi in 2014. That's where I met some of the great people that are here today. So first, just welcome. How many people drove over 2 hours to be here today? So basically half the room. I know we said Hattiesburg, Biloxi, Laurel, Petal, Hattiesburg. So, most people, it's a sacrifice to get here. Taylor drove from Brandon in the traffic, but it's a sacrifice to be here because, truthfully, just being honest, right? So I find out Raina's not going to be here, and I'm like, how am I going to do this? Right? I have the perfect way out. Because my son, you see, my daughters are floating around, my son's not here yet, my wife's not here, because they're at a baseball tournament in Vicksburg. So I'm like, all right, Raina's not going to be in town. This is the perfect time, I can cancel. But then I had to say, okay, why am I doing this, right? So I know why I'm with Bravenly. So 2 years ago, Raina joined Bravenly, and she said, hey, Dr. Burgess, I have a great idea, I have a great plan, this would be great for you as a healthcare provider. I was like, okay. So for about 11 months, and she would tell this story, I'm a big skeptic. For 11 months, I punched holes in it, I listened to her, I observed her and Shannon, who are very close family friends with us, and I just watched. And she was very committed, continued to come back, continued to grow the program. So I was like, let me just start off with these 2 products that I feel comfortable with, and we'll work from there. So that's kind of why I got in. So I'm moving back to why I didn't cancel. Because I'm here because of Raina, but some of the other people in the room are not here because of Raina. They're here because of their relationship with me. And once people start to say, hey, I'm in, I reached out, Kelly, you still in? Hey, I'm in. Lauren's still coming, Adrian's coming. I was like, okay, how can I possibly, if I'm here to build and to grow for myself, how can I let the person that brought me here, presence not being here, make me quit, right? Because it doesn't matter, thank you. It doesn't matter if it's life, work, entrepreneurship, you're going to run into an obstacle. I always tell people to prepare yourself for the obstacle, right?
Like that line, how have you felt to where you're comfortable and you're ethically able to share and recommend products?
I do not bring it up to my patients unless they ask me about integrative medicine, health, wellness, wellness products, nutrients, supplements. Unless they ask me about supplements, it's always the ones who lead the conversations with, I really don't care to take a lot of prescription drugs, and that's where it opens the door. I don't feel comfortable bringing it up to a lot of people. I wait for them to open that door. And honestly, too, the doctor that I worked with, he was like, what is all this? But then when I said, Dr. Burgess, he was like, oh, okay, well, it must be pretty good. So, I don't say anything about it unless somebody asks me.
Right.
But there are a lot of my colleagues, a lot of fellow nurse practitioners, a lot of nurses. They're like, hey, tell me about this. I'm stubborn in the sense of it is very hard for me to talk to somebody about something because my entire life, my best friend has sold Mary Kay, and I'm like, I'm not selling your stuff. But so if somebody asks me, I tell them all about it, and I tell them the why, and I'm like, here, let me go dig around my purse, and I'll give you a sample. I tell them what it's done for me. I tell them what it's done for my mother.
And always love the collaboration and the community that you're talking about. And we weren't letting you get off the hook, so we were still coming regardless. But my name is Lauren Whiteside, like you mentioned. I am from Biloxi, Mississippi. So I'm there with my husband, Matt. We just made 10 years in November, and you see one of my littles here. This is Oakland, so she is one of my 6-year-olds. She is one of my triplets. So I do have triplet 6-year-olds, and they're actually a big part of my story. And my oldest, Emerson. And sometimes I forget. I don't realize how big of a shock factor that is. And then my oldest, Emerson, he is 8. So unlike Dr. Burgess and Kelly, you heard their testimony, it was the product standpoint that really drawn them to Bravenly. It was actually a business standpoint for me that grabbed my attention. So Bravenly was not my first taste of health and wellness, okay? And I am a pediatric PTA, so health and wellness and medical field, I've always been drawn to how the body works and very interested in what I'm putting into my body and that sort of thing. But I was actually with another health and wellness company back in 2020. Okay, we all know, and you mentioned COVID, we know what happened during 2020. I had just gotten home with the triplets from the NICU over at South Alabama, and I'm a pediatric PTA, and like we were talking about your wife's practice, completely shut down. I go into people's homes. For one, even if I did not have 3 newborns, people did not want me in their house anyway. So from a job, from a career standpoint, my PTA career was at a halt. That was a no-go at that point. And then on a financial standpoint, we went from a 1-income household, or from a 2-income household to a 1-income household overnight. Our family literally doubled overnight when I had the babies. And my little blessings, I look at them now and I could not imagine, but like then, I was thinking to myself, what in the world? We're just winging life right now at this point. But I have been watching a friend do one of those things, right? One of those things that you said that you would never do either, Kelly. And she was a brick and mortar boutique owner. So she was an entrepreneur. She was business minded and she was very successful. She was a mama of 2. And I saw her selling some health and wellness supplements. And so, like you said, it's so important to have multiple streams of income, right? Like if my JOB, what I paid money to do, my job, to go to school, my schooling, my training, if that isn't working out, what are we going to do?
People don't want to have to go to bed at night and wonder, how am I going to pay that credit card off before the interest kicks in? Most people, even if they do very well, if they know people that don't, that bothers them. You see, I could go do other things in life now at this point, and it would set me. But what about everybody else? I can't bring them with me if I'm employed, because they wanted just me. But at Bravenly, and this is literally what brings me to tears, is I can bring anybody with me. And when I have my top line, that is some of the most successful people in the company, I have doctors with me that literally have tripled incomes. And I'm like, how did you do that? And they said, because we saw what this could do for people getting to the root cause. Does it mean every single person will? No. But it means, medical field or not, there's a spot here. I remember talking to Lauren, and Lauren enrolled in Bravenly, and we had been friends for years. That's another thing, guys. Your relationships are going to carry you far. Products would do for people. I knew with the founder's heart. I knew with Aspen Emery, her heart for people, and the fact that she is paying out on average 55 to 59% on the dollar. The average direct sales company is paying 35%, unheard of. And I knew for her to be doing that this was going to be absolutely huge. And so I asked Bravenly, I said, what do you offer people that are going to come in and double, triple your company? And she said, no. And I said, okay. I heard no. Just no again. No's motivating. And she said, the company's the gift. You won't need it.
Ship and the water rises, we're all going to rise. Yeah. I feel like there's enough for you to get everything you want and me to still get more than you have if I want it. Because I don't feel like it's really a limit to what you can have if you work and if you are willing to put in the work. Very similar to you. I grew up, I told my parents I was going to be a doctor because I wasn't going to follow my dad around to these dirty rent houses and everything else that he wants to do and all the car wash and this, that, and the third. He said it was this or you go get your education. So I started chasing the education. I passed that test by 1 point.
You got my point.
I passed that test by 1 point, and I still walk around with that piece of paper in my wallet every day because it reminds me that I could have been on the other side of that line, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I had failures. You mentioned 6 times. That was my magic number to try to get over one of my final tests after going through 15 years of training. So, I mean, this stuff is,
you can't make this up.
You can't make it up. I have no script. You had no script. You put it all on line at the end of the day. So thank you for sharing.
God's in this room.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Becca. I chose Bravenly because I wanted to make a change in how I energize myself at work. I work nights and days as a nurse, 12-hour shifts, so I chose Bravenly for the energy products. My favorite two are the Ignite and all the Rush drinks. Have a lot of sustained energy, feel good, no jitters, stuff like that. So that's why I chose Bravenly, and that's why I continue to use it every day.
So my name is Adrienne Watley, and I am a leader at Bravenly Global and very, very passionate about the brand for dual reasons. I absolutely love the products. I was asked my favorite. I would have to say more than likely Rush Extreme. It's absolutely amazing. The Accelerate Trio is my favorite as well. When I get to thinking about all of it, it all comes to mind. Crazy about the Fit Fuel, the Glow, the Golds. It's just all absolutely amazing. My favorite thing about it, I believe, would most likely be because it is naturopathic doctor created. Our botanists, our chemists, they all just formulate everything so wonderfully. We're very, very picky about the way that we source and the way that we layer ingredients so that they come to you fresh and so that they work, and we methylate our vitamins so that they're bioavailable and you don't have to break them down by the body. They're ready to go. So many reasons. Love the business opportunity as well, and the fact that it's wide open across the USA. We are a debt-free company. We are number 118 on Inc. 5000, fastest growing companies in the nation, and I believe the very most important thing to me would be that we are rooted in faith, impact, courage, integrity, and our founders are the best. So I would have to say that's Bravenly in a nutshell for me and why I love it.
My name is Oakland, and my favorite Bravenly product is lemon and lime, and it's so good. I make my money mix in the morning, and I also like lemon and lime. I liked it for a long time. It's so good. But I also like Money Mix a lot because it's so good. It has vitamins. It's super healthy.
Hey, my name is Lauren, and one thing that I love so much about Bravenly products is the fact that they have just filled in the gaps nutritionally. I am obsessed with the Calm and the Ignite. I'm a very busy mama of 4, 3 being triplets. I do have 6-year-old triplets, and one thing, the Calm and the Ignite, they allow me to be a better wife, a better mom, and they truly have kept my nerves at bay. I feel like I'm able to think more clearly. Mommy brain has been a thing of the past, and it's just really helped me get through my day-to-day and able to think on the spot, just more mental clarity and just my overall mental health and well-being. I can't say enough good things about the Calm and the Ignite. And then also from a physical standpoint, the Bravenly Gold and the Bravenly Drive have overall helped just my hormone regulation. It's helped to decrease just some of that inflammation and things that have been causing just the bloat, and just better overall digestion, and has really helped with my physical health as well.
Hey guys, my name is Kelly Mooney. I'm a nurse practitioner. The Bravenly products that have impacted my life the most would be Adapt, Ignite, and Gold. I can think, I can execute, I can function in my job as a nurse practitioner. I have energy. I don't drink energy drinks. I'm getting all of the vitamins that I need. It's been life-changing for me and my family.
Thank you for continuing to support this podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, then please leave a 5-star review. And if you haven't done so, subscribe so you continue to get the updated episodes. Until later, peace.
Hey, time out with the sports doctor. Keep our head right in the game. We ain't never stopping. You are now tuned in. Trust, you don't want to miss. This is where life, sports, and medicine